In the 2004 offseason, the New York Yankees wanted to make a few moves to improve their team. They were looking for valuable pieces to help form their contending team. That offseason was the year the Yankees successfully acquired Alex Rodriguez. They sent Alfonso Soriano and a player to be named later. They also picked up Kenny Lofton, who was a beast in his prime. But that offseason was the same year the Yankees signed an international free agent named Eduardo Nuñez. The Yankees initially believed he could replace Derek Jeter once his career ended. However, Nuñez never proved that to New York. After a few years on the team, he was traded to Minnesota, and this is where he started proving himself. He would have a couple of strong seasons with the team, and then bounce around the league until winning his first World Series in 2018. But just 2 years later, he played his final season in the big leagues, and has never been seen on a major league roster since then. So let me ask the question, what happened to Eduardo Nuñez? Well, let's find out. Eduardo Nuñez was born and raised in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. The man was a well-known prospect at the start of his baseball career. His scouting report stated how he could have been a possible replacement for the great Derek Jeter. The scouts mentioned how Nuñez had a strong throwing arm, had a high batting average, could hit for a bit of power, and was a good base runner. His biggest weakness was his plate vision and discipline, as he swung and missed at too many outside pitches. But regardless, the Yankees still wanted him on their team. They signed him in February 2004 at just 17 years old, which is rare. Usually the youngest guys who get signed today could be around 18 to 19, but they're usually in their early 20s. Nuñez, on the other hand, wasn't even an adult yet. When Kobe Bryant got drafted, he was also 17 years old, so his parents had to sign his contract since he wasn't old enough. And that was the same case for Nuñez. Nuñez lasted 6 years in the minor leagues, and the scouts couldn't have been more right about his game. His best season was in 2009, where he put up a .322 batting average with 9 home runs, 55 RBIs, and 19 stolen bases. He was looking like a good leadoff hitter. In August 2010, Lance Berkman was injured and was put on the 15-day IL. So on August 19th, the Yankees thought it was time to give Nuñez a shot. He barely played in 2010, so there isn't much to discuss. 2011, on the other hand, is a different story. He played in 112 games and put up a .265 batting average with 5 home runs and 30 RBIs, while also stealing 22 bases, which was the third most on his team. Nuñez would last 2 more seasons in New York, where he only played in 128 games. It was 2014 where Nuñez would find himself a new home. The Minnesota Twins were desperately looking to improve their offense. Their infield in the last season was looking like this: Justin Morneau, Brian Dozier, Pedro Florimon, and Trevor Plouffe. While that isn't the worst infield, it could have been better. So what did the Twins do? They traded for Eduardo Nuñez. They sent minor league baseball pitcher Miguel Solbaran to New York. And this was a great trade for the Twins. Solbaran would never make it to the MLB. But Nuñez, on the other hand, would enter his prime when in Minnesota. Nuñez's first 2 seasons in Minnesota started off slow, but in 2016, he played extremely well. For the first half of the season, he played with the Twins and put up a .296 batting average with 12 home runs and 47 RBIs, which is very good for a leadoff hitter. And then in July of 2016, the Twins sent him to San Francisco for Alberto Mejia. Nuñez finished the 2016 season well with a .296 batting average, 4 home runs, and 20 RBIs. Only problem was that the Giants had a terrible second half. They finished the first half of 2016 going 57-33, but then finished the season going 87-75. They were on a ginormous slump, and it heavily affected their momentum. The Giants would make it to the playoffs that season, but were eliminated by the Chicago Cubs. 2016 would be Nuñez's first and last season as an All-Star. In 2017, Nuñez started the season well with the San Francisco Giants, but was then traded to the Boston Red Sox for 2 minor league pitchers. This was a great move for Nuñez because the Giants team was turning around for the worst and did not look like they would be contenders anytime soon. But Boston, on the other hand, looked like they were capable of winning a World Series, which they did the very next season. Nuñez had a great role on the team and would win his first World Series. It was well deserved. He proved to the league why he was useful and ironically won with the Yankees' biggest rival, who just so happened to be the team who gave him his first professional contract. As great as 2018 was, his career would go downhill afterward. 2019 was his final season as a Red Sox. He played in just 60 games and put up a .228 batting average. Then in 2020, he signed a minor league deal with the New York Mets and only played 2 games with the team. And after 2020, he never returned to a major league team. In 2021, he signed with the Fumin Guardians, who were part of the Chinese Professional Baseball League, also known as the CPBL. He played 7 games with the team and was then cut. Just 1 month later, he announced his retirement from baseball, putting an end to his professional career. So let me ask the question once more. What happened to Eduardo Nuñez? How did he go from an all-star to out of the league in just 4 years? Well, there is a very good reason why. If we look at every individual season in his career, the most games Eduardo Nuñez played in a season was in 2016, where he played in 141 games. Besides that season, he played anywhere from around 30 to 120 games, which means that Nuñez was an injury-prone player. Nuñez suffered many injuries throughout his baseball career, affecting his team role. Even in 2020, where he only played 2 games, he could have played more, but suffered a left knee contusion. Injuries were always there for the man, and because of that, he was never able to play season by season consistently. For those wondering what Nuñez is up to today, he seems to be living his life and spending time with family and friends. He posts photos on his Instagram of being around his family and photos where he hangs out with some of his former teammates like Robinson Cano, Francisco Cervelli, and Alex Rodriguez. Overall, Nuñez achieved much more than the average player in his career. He made the All-Star team and won the championship, something every player dreams of accomplishing one day in their careers.